I'm presenting to you Kian Gozari, one of my favorite sourcing experts. Hi, Kian. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Min. And so super excited about Super September and can't wait to jump into this webinar with you guys.
Hey, Kian, I know you wear many hats. You run multiple business. You work with clients. You provide educational content, a lot of really great free content. And you're also a public speaker. So tell us about yourself.
Sure. Well, I've been living and working in the Far East, mainly China, for the last like 12 years. And in that time, I've developed, sourced, and manufactured over 2,500 products, visited more than 500 factories, and attended more than 20 Canton fairs. That's led me to manufacture for different brands, retailers, and licenses, like the NBA, Olympics, United Nations, Ministry of Defense, a lot of big box retailers in UK, Europe, and the US, as well as helping Amazon private label sellers and Shopify sellers as well. But a big part of that, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, has been finding top quality suppliers through Alibaba.com. And the way I've been sort of demonstrating how to find the best suppliers and things like that, I've got a YouTube channel called Sourcing with Kian, and I've also got a sourcing platform called Titan Sourcing. So that may have been where you've seen me before as well.
Yeah, that sounds a lot. So next time, maybe you will share your time management skills with us. But today, I work with buyers very closely. And, one of the most asked questions I have received is, how do I select the right manufacturer or the best manufacturer supplier? Even the experienced buyers ask me this question constantly. So maybe start our session today walking us through your thought process and flow.
Sure. And this is such a good question as well, because like Alibaba.com has got so many different suppliers to choose from with a variety of experience, different quality levels and things like that. But depending on what size of business you are, whether you're big or small, it's very, very important to align with the manufacturer that fits for you and your business. So if I can do a quick screen share, I'm going to show you and demonstrate using Alibaba.com how I would find the best supplier for your business. So let me just load up the screen real quick. So if I can share this, you guys can see my screen okay, right? So I've got Alibaba.com up here. And for you guys who have used Alibaba.com in the last sort of few years, you might have noticed that in the last couple of months, there's been a lot of positive updates and great changes to the platform. And probably one of the most important ones here is that when you search the product that you're looking for, you can search by products or by manufacturers. And I much prefer to search by manufacturers rather than by products, because if you search by products, you're just going to have a list of products by price. But the purpose right now is to find the absolute best suppliers. And once you've found the best supplier, then you can negotiate the price. So if we take an example of a product, something everyone will understand is blue light blocking glasses. And I've searched by manufacturer, right? And the cool thing is, it automatically puts that search into verified manufacturers, and any supplier which is verified, it just means that a third party has gone in and verified that the information that that factory has said is correct. So Alibaba.com works with third-party agencies such as Intertek, SGS, TUV, and they go in and they see, like, okay, how many years has the factory been in business? How many workers do they have? How many production lines do they have? So when you see that information on the website now, that information has been verified, and that's so important, so you know exactly who you're dealing with. But if you don't want verified suppliers, you can click all suppliers, but the search automatically goes to verified. The next thing I like to do is select trade assurance, meaning Alibaba.com will protect your payment as well. So what you say you want to order, if you were to receive anything different or any discrepancies, you'll be able to get a refund. So trade assurance and verified suppliers is very, very important. And then I like to go down here as well and select, in terms of management certifications, ISO, which is a quality standard, and BSCI, which are Business Social Compliance Initiative. And not all factories will have these, but if they do, it means that they've got top quality certification, meaning they're a very good factory. So automatically now we're sort of looking at factories which are very experienced and which are very good at the product that you're looking for. So for example, we're looking at blue light blocking glasses, and before I actually select the suppliers to work with, I like to scroll down the list, because normally the first word in any company name is either the city or the province which that factory is located. So I want to see, like, what is the common area and you can look at other countries as well. Like China just happens to be the main country for this particular product. But if we were to look at a leather product, for example, then it would demonstrate other countries which show up here as well. And that's another great addition to Alibaba.com, is that other countries have been invited into the platform as well. So you don't have to just source from one country. But I'm just going to concentrate on the first name, sorry, the first word. So I can see here Wenzhou, again, Wenzhou, Xiamen, Hangzhou, Wenzhou. So just by scrolling down this list, I can see that Wenzhou is the most popular area for this particular product. So if I click on a supplier from Wenzhou, that is the area which concentrates on this particular product. So if we look at the first example of a factory, so we can look at here, I always like to look at the company profile and scroll down. So first of all, actually hover my mouse over products. And because we're looking for blue light blocking glasses, I want the other products to also be glasses. So I can see sunglasses, optical frames, kids glasses, reading glasses. So this is a factory which actually specializes in glasses. But if we were to look at products and it said iPhone cable, fidget spinner, winter gloves, then I know that this is not a factory which specializes in this product. But here we have it because we pre-selected that criteria: trade assurance, verified suppliers, and then the management certification. And then as we scroll down here, we talked about the importance of verified information. Here it says here, verified by SGS Group. So everything here in blue has been verified. So I can see here they've got the ISO 9001 certification. I can see that 30% of their exports go to North America, the other 30% go to Europe. And that's really important because if you're a seller in America, you also want to know that factory also supplies your market, so they're compliant with the quality standards and the certification of your market. Then you can also see that they've been established since 1998, which is amazing because that means they've been in business for 24 years. And again, that information has been verified. So these are the kind of checks that I do. And there's a lot more things that we could look at on the page. But initially, those are the things that I look at. And then I would sort of go down that list, select the Wenzhou suppliers, select maybe 3 to 5 suppliers, and I'll start the communication with those suppliers. And that's how I start off to make sure that I find the best suppliers.
Wow. That's sounds great. So let me recap what you have just mentioned. So basically, you talk about the key factors that we need to pay attention to, such as their certifications, their regions, and their core products of the suppliers, and also different tools you can use to really make this process a lot faster and easier. That's a very good information. And also, you mentioned earlier you have sourced over 2,500 products, and you've been to 500 factories and many cities. Well, more cities than I have been to in China. So that's a lot. So I bet you must be a very good communicator with suppliers. You know how to communicate with suppliers really well. So personally, I have worked with some disputes and complaints that caused by miscommunication. So could you share some experience how to communicate with the suppliers to get the best results?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great point. So essentially, to start my communication with the supplier, I want to show the supplier why I'm going to be a good customer for them. And I'm going to use the information that I see on their Alibaba.com profile. So if I can share my screen again, 1 second, I'm just going to show you the information that I'll look at essentially to communicate with that supplier to get the best results. So if you guys can see my screen again, so we're now looking at the same company again, right? And we're on their company profile. And I want to let the supplier know why I've selected to work with that supplier, because think about how many inquiries the suppliers get, right? There's many people reaching out to them, and normally they just say, hey, what's your best price? What's your MOQ? And it's just a very general and basic message. But I want my inquiry to go to the top of the supplier's list. So I'm going to say things like, I want to let them know why I selected them. So I would say, hey, I found your profile on Alibaba.com. It's great to see that you've been established since 1998 and you have 24 years of experience. Our business has also been established for 10 plus years. I can also see that you have the ISO 9001 certificate. That means that you place quality standards very high as a core value of your company. Quality standards are also very, very important for our company. So I can tell you're going to be a great partner to work with in the long term. And those are like 2 very key words to say. We want to work in partnership with you, and we want to work in the long term, because the suppliers have received so many inquiries where someone places an order and then they never hear from them again. Maybe they cancel the order, or maybe they go to another supplier just to get a slightly cheaper price. But a supplier's dream is having a customer which is around for the next 3, 5, 10 years. So I want to tell them things like, I want to work in partnership with you. I want to work in the long term with you. So now I'm a desirable customer for them, and I'm going to receive their best service as well. And then as we scroll down this list, we can get a lot more information about the companies as well. So going back to that verified information, and if we want to again have a deeper look in terms of, well, how good are their quality standards, here we can see like this is their production capacity, this is the production equipment that they have, these are the images inside their factory, and again that information has been verified. You can see that in the top corner, and again this information has been verified here. So they've got 6 laser cutting machines, they've got 15 laser marking machines, they've got 25 CNC machines. And if you don't know what this is, you can also message them and say, hey, it's great to see that you have 25 CNC machines. Is it possible if you could send me a quick video or photo of exactly what this machine does? You can see here it says CNC processing, but then they know that you're a customer, which is actually checking all these like really, really small details. So they know that you're actually a serious customer as well. Now compare that to the first clients which have reached out and said, hey, what's your cheapest price, and can I get customized packaging? You're asking them, hey, what does this CNC machine do, and can I get a photo and a video of it? They're like, clearly they're looking very, very closely at quality standards. And again, as you scroll down, you get more verified information. You can see all the certifications that they have, and you can actually click on them and read more about the certification. And if you have any questions, you can ask about that as well. And what I always like to see is what trade shows they visited as well. So you can see here that they visited trade shows in Italy and in France. So if I was based in Italy and France, I would say, hey, that's also the market that I'm selling in. It would be great. I can't wait for international travel to open up again. And I look forward to seeing you in person. And also, a lot of suppliers have visited the Canton Fair, and then you can say, I normally visit the Canton Fair, and next time I'm in China, I look forward to coming to visit your factory as well. So you've told them, I have the intention to come to China and visit your factory. And for that reason, they give you their best communication from day one, because, well, this is a customer who's going to come and visit us, so they're obviously a serious customer, so let's treat them properly as well. So I always like to use the information from their company profile that I found on Alibaba.com, let the supplier know what I like about them in terms of their quality standards or quality certification, what trade shows they've been to, inquire about some of their machinery if I don't know what it is, and then also look at the markets they supply to be like, hey, we also sell in North America and Western Europe. It's great to see that 60% of your market as well. Do you happen to supply this retail store? That's one of our customers. And these are like high depth, high level conversations that suppliers are desperate for a customer like you. So using the information that they provide to communicate with them will give you the best results. And because we have so many different options of suppliers that we can work with, if you find a supplier which doesn't have any production equipment, perhaps they're a trading company rather than a factory, well, there's plenty of other suppliers to choose from. If we go back to this list, I just clicked on the first one, but very, very important was that criteria: searching by manufacturer, searching by verified manufacturers, selecting trade assurance, and then selecting these 2 levels of certification. It's given us so many good suppliers here, and just by clicking on the first one, we got loads of quality information. But we can repeat that process with another 5, 6, 7 suppliers, however many you need, in order to begin this process.
Those are really great advice for working with suppliers, and especially a few things that I find very useful, extremely useful. Best communication from day one, and treat them with respect, right? Because you want it to be partner with the suppliers, not just a one-time deal. And the same thing, suppliers always look for partners on the buyer side as well. And the second, be specific and get attention, and show them you're a serious buyer and you have the intention to work with them. So those are really great points of to learn communicating with suppliers. So since our Super September, the main subject is stay competitive, and one of the factors of being competitive is really having the best cost of goods. Especially when I talk to buyers, I get kind of 2 different type of response. Some of the buyers hesitate to push hard on cost. They don't want to be seen as greedy. If that's not a maybe not the best word, but some other buyers find any chance to negotiate lower cost. So how do you balance that? How do you know what is the best cost out there, and how do you negotiate the best cost?
Yeah, this is such a great question. And again, like we have all the tools available at our disposal using Alibaba.com to figure out what is the absolute best price for this product. So going back to the homepage, right, we kind of talked at the start that, you can search by manufacturers, we can search by products. And the reason I selected manufacturers, because let's start that search again. Let's go blue light blocking glasses again, and let's search by products, right? And what's challenging now is that we can scroll down here and we can see this product is $1.45, this one's $1.80, this one's $3, this is $2.30, this is $4.50, this one's 40 cents. So our pricing is ranging from 40 cents to $5, but the products look the same. I mean, that product looks the exact same as that one. And I'm like, well, why would I pay $5 for this one when I can pay 40 cents for this one? So but you're actually looking at two completely different products. We don't know if the quality of the lens is different, if the quality of the frame is different, what type of testing certificates that they have. So the most important thing in order to negotiate the best price is, first of all, understand what is the market price for your product. And the best way to do this is creating what I call like a specification sheet. And this is like a one-page PDF, which has all the product information about your particular product. So again, if we're looking at blue light blocking glasses, it would have an image of the product. It would say that what are the dimensions of the product? What is the thickness of the frame? What is the material of the lens? Is it plastic? Is it carbon fiber? What type of casing does it have? What does it come with? Any inserts, like any cloth? What's the Pantone color of the frame? What type of packaging does it have? Is it a color box? Is it a hang tag? Do you have a poly bag? So now, and I put all this information, it doesn't need to be like that complicated. It's literally just drag and drop some images, write some bullet points, write the dimensions, the material, the Pantone colors, the packaging, and I make that one-page PDF. And then looking at the process that we did before, searching by suppliers rather than by products, I would then send that PDF to these manufacturers to say, hey, I'm looking at purchasing 500 units as a trial order or 2,000 units of this particular product. And then I would attach that specification sheet and say, what is your best price for this product? Now, when I get the supplier's prices back, I'm going to get, $3.60, $3.80, $4, $4.10, and they're all comparing apples with apples. They're all quoting on the exact same thing. But when we looked at just the products, we were seeing 40 cents, $3, $5, and you don't really know what you're purchasing with at these prices. But if I'm telling the supplier first, this is what I want, then they're giving us the prices. And then only once we know what's the market price of this product, then are we in a position to negotiate. Because if a supplier gives you a price of like $5 and then you say, hey, I want it for $3, and then they say, okay, cool, you just knocked $2 off the price, but you didn't know what was the real price. But now we can see we're getting, $3.50, $3.60, $3.70. Now we know how much we can negotiate. And it doesn't necessarily mean, hey, go with the supplier, which is the cheapest price. You can still go with your favorite manufacturer. Let's say your favorite manufacturer was like $4. But I know that $3.60 is capable because other suppliers have received the same information. And these are all also verified suppliers, which have been in business for 5 or 10 plus years, that supply the markets that we desire to supply as well. So I would say, hey, you're my favorite supplier. I love the quality of your product if you've requested a sample. However, the best price that I received was $3.60. If you're able to match that price, then I'm happy to give you the purchase order. And 9 times out of 10, they will match the price because it's a realistic price. It's not, you've not asked them for $2. You're just giving them a price that you've also received from someone else with the exact same information. So through this process, we were able to get our favorite supplier and also get the lowest price, but still in the quality standards which we require. And that all started off by having a specification sheet for our product, which I don't want to complicate that. It's very simple. You literally just drag and drop some images. And if you don't have those images yet, grab them off other Amazon.com listings, or find images that you like from other suppliers, or go into a store and take some photos and just share images for reference, make some bullet points, just put it on one page so it's not complicated. PDF it, put your company name and put your email on it as well. Very important to put your email on a specification sheet, because this document can change hands to different people within the company. And then someone is supposed to come back to you with the price and they forgot who the inquiry was from. So always put your email address on there, and then you'll start to get all the prices back. And then the best thing is that they've all come from verified suppliers with the certificates that you require, which have been in business for X amount of years that you're happy with. So that is how I get the best prices from the best suppliers. And sorry, one final thing I'll say about this is that like by reaching out to maybe 5 or 6 or 7 suppliers, you get an idea of what everyone is quoting for. So as I said, if the prices were between like, $3.60 and $4, but someone gives you a price for $2, that's an outlier and that's too good to be true. And if someone gives you a price for like $8, they're just adding on way too much margin because you saw what is the market price for that product. So it allows you to negotiate with a bit more knowledge about what is the real price of that product.
Yeah, that's extremely helpful. So I think we're going to bring a question from the audience. I think that's very relevant to what we're speaking today.
Awesome.
So yeah, so we get a lot of good questions today. So one, I think we have one audience ask, I wanted to order from Alibaba, but the problem is I don't have much faith in the online payment or purchase because it's international. I don't know how to build up trust and make the customer trust the supplier.
Mm-hmm. So that's a really good point. So there's a few different methods of protection. So first of all, as we highlighted earlier, we can select trade assurance. That's so important to select. So if you were to receive something which you didn't order, and that trade assurance button is just right here. So when we're searching by verified manufacturers, we can just select trade assurance. So our payment is protected. The other thing is that when you actually make the payment, Alibaba.com gives you the opportunity to make that payment via credit card as well. And if there are any issues with the production of your order, then you can also do a chargeback from your credit card company. But before it ever gets to that stage, one way to basically verify that the quality of production is as per you require. The sample process is very important. So it's not just, hey, I like that product, here's a deposit and go and start production. It's, let me confirm a pre-production sample, meaning like I want to receive the sample because I've already sent the specification sheet. Now I want to receive the samples, and I get samples from multiple suppliers as well. I'm going to get those samples. I'm going to compare them. Right, I'm happy with this one. I'm happy for you to go into production as with the quality of the sample. So you place your 30% deposit, they do the mass production. Let's say you've ordered 1,000 units of these blue light blocking glasses. Then once the production's finished, I'm going to ask for a pre-shipment sample, which is a sample from the production. So I've got the sample of what I confirmed to go into production, and now I've got a sample of what you've actually produced, and they should be 100% the same. You should be happy with both samples. And then if you are, at that stage, I would send in what's called a pre-shipment inspection company. And they would go into the factory, third party. There's many that you can select via Alibaba.com as well. And they'll go in and they'll give you like a 20 or a 30-page report with pictures from inside the factory. They'll verify that the 1,000 units are there. They'll take pictures of the cartons. They'll select samples at random. They'll take them out. They'll check for any scratches or dents or correct printing and all that sort of stuff. And then they'll send you a report to say that this production was a pass or this production was a fail, and here's what they need to correct. So you're not making that 70% remaining balance payment until you've approved that pre-shipment inspection report. So this is the layers of protection you've got. We've got trade assurance. We've confirmed a pre-production sample. We've confirmed a pre-shipment sample. We've sent in a third-party inspection company to verify that the stock is there and it's to our quality standards. And then you can also pay went over on the call of verified manufacturers which have been in business for 10 plus years. These are all top quality suppliers, and they're out to give you the best possible service, best possible quality, the best possible communication. And that is the beauty of verified suppliers. So they're just going to be very, very serving to you. They're going to love having you as a customer, and you'll always get top quality production so long as you follow that process.
Yeah, so the quality control is definitely very important. And, I totally understand sometimes buyers have fears about ordering overseas, especially working with someone new. So those tips are super helpful. And from the sampling to a communication, and also, those tips will help the buyers have a good night's sleep. And you work with premium clients. I bet they're very, they really, really, the quality is really important to them. So I think let me go to another question. So I think we have audience asking, so how would you diversify the supply chain? That's a quite broad question. Kind of beyond,
Yes.
yeah.
So that's a good question. And what I would say is It depends. Like, so, when we reach out to these manufacturers, we selected kind of 3, 5, 10 different suppliers. And in terms of diversification, I always get samples from at least 3 different suppliers. So if anything were to go wrong with one of the suppliers, because there can be some things that happen which are out with the supplier's control. Sometimes the government have power regulations situations or anything like that, or there might be a lockdown or anything like that. But the beauty of reaching out to multiple manufacturers is that now we have samples and prices from 2 or 3 other suppliers. So if anything was to go wrong with one of your existing suppliers, you automatically have 2 other suppliers you can go to immediately to be like, hey, I need production of this item, and you've already confirmed the sample and you've already confirmed the price. And then as well as that, you can also diversify your supply chain by looking at other countries as well. And on the left side of the page, when you look for a particular product, Alibaba.com brings up all the different countries which specialize in that product. So you don't have to always select China. You can select Turkey, you can select Bangladesh, you can select, Mexico, USA. Like, there are other countries which manufacture these products as well. So I think it's always a good backup to have multiple suppliers and then also different countries as well.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot of like options in terms of supply chain. I think diversifying the supply chain and not just having one supplier, or at least you have relationship with multiple suppliers, definitely can lower the risk. So and also additionally, external factors such as shipping, currency, tariffs, and sometimes factory temporary lockdowns, and those are unpredictable factors in sourcing. So how do you manage all the changes or uncertainties during your job? It's, I guess, might be stressful sometimes.
Yes, so this is a great question, and the first thing to really understand is that if there's a change in currency, or if there's an increase in tariff, or there's a lockdown, or there's changing in shipping prices, the first reaction might be, oh, why has this happened to me? But the important thing to realize is that if it's happened to you, it's also happened to all of the competition as well. Like, a difference in exchange rate or a increase in shipping price is not just happening to you, it's also happening to the entire market, it's happening to the entire all your competition. So it's about who reacts best to this. So I always have, and going back to having good relationships with your manufacturer in terms of like how good is your communication with that supplier, is the better relationship you have. And the better relationship that you have, the better way you can overturn like some of these potential issues. So for example, if there's a factory lockdown and they're going to close for 60 days and you're not going to get any production, I might say to my factory, hey, for the raw material of my product, let's just say I'm doing a black backpack, right? So I've got black polyester material. I would say to my supplier, look, over the course of the year, I order 12,000 backpacks. I order 3,000 every quarter. Can you store the black polyester material of 12,000 pieces in your factory? And whenever I need the production, then you'll just basically cut and sew and make the product. And factories are normally okay with this if it's like a stock material. So if, for example, like, you were not to take your order for the rest of the year, they can still use that black polyester for other customers. So it's no problem. It's no risk to them. But if you had like some purple goldfish pattern that only you used, then that would be a bit risky. So again, relationships with manufacturers, communicate with them. Can you hold items in stock for me? Can you hold raw materials in stock for me? And, having these conversations are good regardless if there's, unpredictable factors or not, because normally what I would do after Chinese New Year, when the factories go back to work, is I would tell my manufacturer, this is my forecast order for the rest of the year. And this is not a commitment, it's just a forecast. And then by them holding those raw materials or accessories, let's say it's YKK zips or whatever, by holding all those items in stock, one, it's going to reduce your lead times because now you cut off that 30 days it would normally take for them to go and prepare that. And then the other thing is that you're sort of getting cheaper prices because any sort of future price increases in the price of steel or metal or polyester or whatever it may be, you've now hedged against that because you ordered all your raw materials at one time and you got that bulk discount. And suppliers will only do that for you, one, if you've had a good relationship with them, if you've maybe been working with them for maybe 1 or 2 years, that your order levels have been increasing. So, and then going back to that initial message of like building leverage of why you want to work with them, you are now a customer that they want to keep happy. So those are the sort of things that I would look at. And I could talk for a long time about all these different things, but I'll just say like one other thing is that like in terms of like the currency and stuff like that as well, sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it works in the supplier's favor. So for example, like if the RMB or the Chinese yuan strengthens against the US dollar, let's say for example, the rate is like $1 is like 6 yuan, but then it might also go like $1 to 7 yuan. That means if I pay my supplier $10,000, they've made an additional, 5,000 yuan based on the exchange rate alone. So I would look at, there's a website called xe.com, which traces the currencies, the US dollar against the Chinese RMB. And then I would say, hey, the RMB is strengthened against the dollar. You've now made an additional 10% based on the exchange rate alone. Can you pass a discount to me of 5%? And you can sort of like show a screenshot of the currency fluctuation. And the way you word it is very important as well. It's not like, hey, give me a 5% discount because I want to make more margin. It's, hey, the saving you made was 10%. If you can pass half of it on to me, which is 5%, I'm going to pass that saving on to my customer. I can then reduce my cost of goods. I can then be cheaper than my competition. I can then sell more units. The more units I sell, the more units I'll order from you. So it's kind of, you're treating it like a win-win. If you pass me this discount, I will get you more orders, rather than, hey, give me money off my order. So the way you word it is very important. So it all kind of goes back to good communication, choosing the right suppliers, and also just being fair with them as well, not being unreasonable. And I could go into a lot more detail, but actually I wanted to keep it brief as well.
Yeah, sounds great. So, Kian, if I ask you to maybe give us a prediction for the near future, is there anything you think that may be happening in terms of sourcing or supply chain? How should we prepare for it?
Sure. I've got my crystal ball here, so let me grab this real
Where
quick.
did you buy it? Alibaba?
Yeah, exactly. But actually, that's a great question. And one observation that I've made, and I've kind of talked about this in great detail. I made a YouTube video on my channel, Sourcing with Kian, about sustainability. And I was at a trade show in Germany just a couple of months ago, and what I noticed was the big brands like in the outdoor industry, so your North Face and Deuter and Jack Wolfskin and all these guys, Patagonia, their main focus was on sustainability. And it's kind of like, prices are increasing and, production's getting a little bit more complicated. So they've now leaned towards sustainability. And what I mean by that is that, can you use recycled materials in your packaging? Can you use recycled materials, organic materials, sustainable materials? So for example, like if we're doing a backpack, we can use polyester material, but we can also use recycled polyester, where they take plastic bottles from the ocean, they cut them, they melt them, they turn that plastic bottles into polyester yarns, and then they make products out of that polyester yarn. But you might think, oh, hey, like the quality is going to be different or the price is going to be much higher. In actual fact, it's really not. The quality level is the exact same. There might be a little bit of discoloration, and the price of the material might be like an additional 5, 10, 12%. But remember, that's just the price of the material, not the price of the product, because the main price of the product comes from like the labor cost. But so even if it's like 10% increase on the cost of the material, your overall cost of goods might increase like maybe 3 or 4%. But that's a feature to talk about to your customers, to say, hey, our products come from a recycled source. And again, going back to good communication with your factory, I would ask them, hey, do you use any renewable energy sources to power your factory? And they might say, hey, yeah, we use wind turbine energy, we use solar powered energy. And then you can say like, hey, can you send me a photo and a video of that? And then you can put on your website, hey, the factories which make our goods come from renewable energy. We only use factories which use solar power. Here's the image of our factory. Our products also have recyclable material. Our packaging is also 100% recycled. So it's things like that. And if sustainability aligns with the core values of your company, there are plenty of factories, if you just ask, to be like, hey, what recycled materials do you have? But very, very important, if you are getting sustainable materials, recycled materials, organic materials, ask for the certification of that as well, because the suppliers will just go to their material factory, and if you just ask for the regular polyester, they'll get you that. But if you ask for the recyclable polyester, they can also get you that. And if they get you that, they'll have a certificate that goes with it. You can put that certificate on your website. You can have a sustainability tab on your website. You can have an email, sustainability@mybrand.com. So if anyone's got any questions, and that email can just be redirected to your normal customer support. So it's kind of showing that you're doing what you can, and your cost of goods might increase a little bit, but that's such a differentiating factor to the rest of your competition. And it's also good for the environment as well. So it's a bit of a win-win.
Yeah, I love that. Like environmental friendly materials and sustainability are definitely very high priority for Alibaba. Like not just us, but the whole group. We have a lot of initiatives internally as well, and hopefully you can share with the audience later. So I think we have another question. Can a US company list products on Alibaba.com? And I will answer that. That's yes. We have a GGS team that help sellers sell Alibaba and sell internationally. We can share that website in the comment section. So I think we were getting to the end of this webinar. So Kian, if you have to share one last secret to stay competitive in this business, what would it be?
So I'll give a quick tip in terms of, we talked about relationships and things like that. And, while we looked at a lot of stuff on Alibaba.com, I would definitely say download the Alibaba.com app and use the chat feature in the app to have really high level communication with your manufacturers, because I really like a lot of informal communication as well. A good tip in terms of building relationships is just what you do on your weekends, what you do with your friends. So if I'm out at like a football game, or if I'm just like having beers and a barbecue with my friends, I'll take photos, and the same photos that I would upload onto my Instagram, I would also send to my suppliers and say, hey, this is what we're up to on the weekend. And they'll be like, yeah, this is what we're having for dinner. And we're now like kind of getting to know each other on an informal level. And then the cool thing about that is that you can also have like video calls, you can have like voice calls. And once I've established that communication, that we can have video calls, now when your goods are in production, I might video call my supplier through the app and say, hey, can you take the video down to the factory? I would love to see the goods in production. I'd love to see the first units coming off the production line. Can you show me the quality control process? Hey, are the goods finished? Are the inspection company there? Can you give me a quick video of the inspection company? You now have eyes and ears inside the factory because you built the relationship, but you also can utilize the app to have video calls and send voice notes as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I love that feature as well. It's available in the app 8.0, and we also have other features. We'll share more details about product features in the next sections coming next Wednesday. So thank you so much, Kian. It was great content and very educational. And all the audience, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure you would love to learn more from Kian. So this session is recorded and will be shared on Alibaba.com's official channels. And Kian, what are the channels our audience can go to find more content from you?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So if you like today, you'll love my YouTube channel, which I've got a lot of videos that I just make about supply chain, about pricing, MOQ, sample process, all that sort of fun stuff. And that channel is just called Sourcing with Kian. So I'd be very grateful if you go into YouTube, Sourcing with Kian, hit subscribe. It would be great to connect with you there. I also have a Facebook group of the same name, also called Sourcing with Kian, where I just answer loads of questions and give out a lot of free help and resources in terms of supply chain. I'm also on Instagram, Kian_JG. So if you're on Instagram, feel free to say hello, say what's up, send me a DM, and I'd be happy to help out. And if anyone needs help with their supply chain, I've got a sourcing agency and sourcing platform called titansourcing.com, and we utilize all the processes which we just showed and talked about today as well to get you guys the best suppliers, best prices, best quality.
Well, that's awesome. So again, Super September stay competitive. Event starts tomorrow, and we'll be back with a webinar same time next Wednesday and presenting to you new product features and buyers benefits. So wow, that's the webinar for today. And thank you, Kian. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you guys.
Right.
Thank you, Min. Pleasure. See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye.